Today we're going to do a Second Amendment pop quiz. Get your pencils ready and let's see how smart you are when it comes to the Second Amendment's right to keep and bear arms. Hey folks, I'm Mark Smith, host of the Four Boxes Diner, constitutional attorney, member of the Supreme Court Bar, and proud American gun owner. If you love the Second Amendment like I do and you want to protect it, please hit the subscribe button right now to help us spread the message of gun rights to America. Today at the Four Boxes Diner, I've got a very special surprise for you. We're going to have a pop quiz on the Second Amendment, and I want to ask you 5 questions, and let's see how well you do. By the way, it's going to be multiple choice, so don't get too upset. If you've been watching this channel, you should know the answer to all these questions. Okay, first question is this. Which American founding father once said that you should, quote, let your gun be your constant companion? Which founding father once said you should let your gun be your constant companion? Was it A, George Washington, B, Thomas Jefferson, C, Drake, or D, Joseph Warren? The answer is B, Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson wrote to his nephew that a strong body makes the mind strong. As to the species of exercise, I advise the gun. Let your gun, therefore, be the constant companion of your walks. Thomas Jefferson. If you got that right, great job. You're 1 for 1. If you didn't, don't worry. We got 4 more questions coming for you to catch up. Okay, question number 2 here. What was the name of the rifle that Lewis and Clark, from the years 1803 to 1806, took on their expedition to explore the Louisiana Territory? That's the land that the United States purchased from France. Now, again, what was the name of the rifle they brought with them? Was it A, the Girondoni air rifle? Was it B, a Colt 45? Was it C, a Brown Bess musket? Or was it D, an AR-15? Well, the answer is A, the Girondoni air rifle, which was a 46 caliber Austrian air rifle. It has been called by some historians as perhaps the single most influential weapon in the opening of the American West. It was also considered perhaps the secret weapon of the Lewis and Clark expedition because Lewis and Clark encountered something like 35 to 40 different Indian tribes. And for each of them, they used this Girondoni air rifle to rapid fire and impress and maybe even intimidate the Indians with the rifle's firepower. Question 3. I want to stay with the Girondoni air rifle for a second. How many rounds did the magazine of the Girondoni air rifle hold? How many rounds? Was it A, 2 rounds? Was it B, 5 rounds? Was it C, 10 rounds? Or was it D, 20 rounds? If you answered D, gold star, congratulations. The Girondoni air rifle was a breech-loading rifle with a 20-round tubular magazine alongside the barrel. This is very important for the AR-15 and the so-called large-capacity magazine, which is really standard-capacity magazine litigation, where the anti-gunners argue that none of the founders anticipated the improvements of firearms technology. This is completely false for many reasons, including the existence and use of the Girondoni rifle by Lewis and Clark just after the founding of the United States, right at the beginning when Thomas Jefferson was president. Remember, many of the anti-gunners like to ban or want to ban and have banned magazines over 10 rounds for handguns and long guns. But how is that even possible under the Constitution, since we know that the Girondoni air rifle, at the time of the founding, held 20 rounds? Okay, I hope you guys are doing well. We got 3 questions under our belts. Let's try for the 4th. And if you haven't got any right, there's still time to catch up. Here we go. Question number 4. We read and we hear about the AR-15 rifle all the time. This is the gun that the gun prohibitionists hate. But what does AR stand for? Is it A, assault rifle? Is it B, Armalite? Is it C, America's rifle? Or is it D, automatic firing rifle? The correct answer is B, Armalite. The AR in AR-15 stands for Armalite rifle. Armalite rifle, which is named after the company that developed this rifle in the 1950s. AR does not stand for assault rifle or automatic rifle. But I will also accept the answer America's rifle because AR-15 style rifles are the most popular rifle in the United States today. So I think it's also fair to call the AR-15 America's rifle. So I will accept either B, Armalite, or C, America's rifle as a correct answer for question number 4. Question number 5. This is the last question of this pop quiz. Who is the famous 18th century criminologist that wrote this passage in a major book that our founding fathers were familiar with? Here's the quote, and it's a great quote for you all to remember. False is the idea of utility that sacrifices 1,000 real advantages for one imaginary or trifling inconvenience. That would take fire from men because it burns, and water because one may drown in it. That has no remedy for evils except destruction. The laws that forbid the carrying of arms are laws of such a nature. They disarm those only who are neither inclined nor determined to commit crimes. Can it be supposed that those who have the courage to violate the most sacred laws of humanity, the most important of the code, will respect the less important and arbitrary laws which can be violated with ease and impunity, and which, if strictly obeyed, would put an end to the personal liberty, so dear to men, so dear to the enlightened legislator, and subject innocent persons to all the vexations that the guilty alone ought to suffer? Such laws make things worse for the assaulted and better for the assailants. They serve rather to encourage than to prevent homicides, for an unarmed man may be attacked with greater confidence than an armed man. Who said this? Was it A, Bernard Smith, B, John Brown, C, Cesar Beccaria, or D, John Paul Jones? The answer to this question is C, Cesar Beccaria. Cesar Beccaria, in a book called On Crimes and Punishments, he explained that if you pass gun control laws, arms control, you're only going to help the criminal at the expense of the law-abiding. His views were extremely important. He was specifically read and noted in their writings by both John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. Very important to the founding of the country, and they read Cesar Beccaria, and they were familiar with this quote before they wrote the Constitution and before they sketched out and blessed the Second Amendment itself. Okay, so let's wrap it up. If you got 5 out of 5 correct of this pop quiz, you are a Second Amendment superstar. If you got 3 or 4 right, great job. You're on the verge of being a Second Amendment superstar, but you're not quite there yet, but you're really, really good. Now, if you got a 0 right, or a 1 or a 2 right, then you are hereby assigned to subscribe to this channel and to watch the Four Boxes Diner so you can learn more about the text, the history, and the traditions of the Second Amendment and the America's gun culture and our country's great history, including the fundamental right to keep and bear arms. Okay? Well, I hope you learned something here at the Four Boxes Diner. And again, we'll see you next time soon at the Four Boxes Diner.
Orders up. Table 2A.